kindness and trust. It's a community ideal to be able to put people in a room and talk about some of the most difficult of things, painful, hurtful things, but yet congeal an environment whereby people can see their own humanity, show compassion, and show mercy. Civil liberties attorney Clarence Darrow also said when it came to humor, if you lose the power to laugh, you lose the power to think. With that, I present the End of Racism Comedy Lecture Tour Virtual Edition.
I think racism is the reason why you never see any black people in tanning commercials. You're laughing, but if you went to the local pharmacy, you saw a cardboard cutout of me with some suntan lotion, you'd be confused. It's a killer. They can tell you this. It affects everybody. Guess what? Racism affects white people too. They don't tell you. That's why I'm here. Work with me here. Black people have Black History Month. Muslims have Ramadan. Latinos have Latino Month. Asians have. What do my white brothers and sisters have? Nothing. You don't have a Caucasian Awareness Month or Black Appreciation Day or a white or something or Richard Month. Hopefully you don't help a pale clothes. Nothing. Put out your right hand. Skin 5 fingers. I call this the fives. It's about thinking about language. Freedom. I believe there's always 5 letters to let us know just how close we are. 5 letters. Think outside the box. Here we go. You can count on 5 letters. I believe we all exist. EXIST. Here on Earth, 5 letters by virtue of the fact we're all man. And therefore, it doesn't matter whether you're black 5 letters, white 5 letters, Asian 5 letters, or Latino, I like the older age stuff. Ain't true. Also, you know, that means I follow Islam. That's 5 letters. If you follow Jesus, you Torah 5 letters too. The point of this is, as good as it sounds, I'm going to be hated. And it's 5 letters too. Because our power lies in our unity, U-N-I-T-Y. And a hater, you know how a hater is. Most of them are angry, some are upset, some of them pissed off around because damn it, they can't SP. Tell a hater, listen, man, if you can't spell it out, do the math. If you take 3 things away from the 5, you lose your peace. And that peace is spelled P-E-A-C.
I proudly present the End of Racism Comedy Lecture Tour Virtual Edition, coming to a college near you. Hey everybody, Assalamu alaikum. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the notify button so you'll know when you're getting new episodes. And we just want to grow this project. I thank you in advance. Without further ado, let's get it rolling. The ShOUT Show.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings of peace, blessings, and mercy to my brothers and sisters. I'm Preacher Mars, the host of the SOS, the ShOUT Show. Hope you're having an amazing Saturday. And there's 2 things you can do with an amazing Saturday. If it's not going well, get better. And if it is going well, expand on it, brothers and sisters. I am proud to be here today. I had such a good time with everybody yesterday on Friday Funnies. I actually did a little bit more research about our guest yesterday, Timmy Rogers, the comedian that I focused on. And he was actually a pretty good singer, as a matter of fact. He played ukulele, but an amazing singer. So if you didn't see that episode, Go back and check it out. You're going to enjoy yourself. We had some genuine crack-ups on Friday Funnies. Now, let me start out the general housekeeping. If you're coming on the Shout Out Show for the first time, relax. There's no pressure on you, except that just we want you to have a good time, have a great experience. And as a part of that, we ask, when you come to the show, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button. And if you like the show, please hit the link. That's number one. Number two is we are a very wonderful group, a very welcoming group here. Like, this is not my platform. There are other people who've been on the show enough. This is their platform as well. So tell you what, when you come to the Shout Out Show, I don't want you to worry about anything. You are an official member of the Shout Out Show. If we see you tomorrow, we never see you again. We want you to know that you've been appreciated. And if you have anything worth saying, something that's on your mind, something you want to share with the crew, go to that comment box, put it in there, and you will get what's officially known as your shout out. Like I said, this is your platform. Now let me keep it moving here because we have an interesting show, a very interesting topic today. And this is a mix of how to learn how to do stand-up. A lot of people do stand-up and it's very much for them, which is fine. It's very much my attitude, my vision. I'm trying to enforce my will upon your psyche. That happens. But every once in a while, you have social comedians like Dick Gregory's and Richard Pryor's and Dave Chappelle to an extent. And I did it for a lot of years and still continue to do it. But I thought it was interesting to use comedy to teach a lesson today. A lesson that we've been kind of alluding to, but I thought that this would be a great episode to go into it. So before I bring everybody in, let me bring my stars in the building. We got Sister Reese. Reese is the celebrity chef for the Shout Out Show in charge of craft services. Ree, I hope you're doing well. Brother Altaf, all the way from Toronto. He's a Canadian correspondent. He's our own Shout Out Show CBC. Did you like that one, Altaf? He's our Shout Out Show CBC. And what a wonderful guy, because he comes all the way from Toronto. Like I said, no passport. If you know what, brother, if I had to put a passport, man, I'd take that page, I put Shout Out Show in it, every page, man, because we appreciate you coming. There's a discipline to what you do, just like everybody else here. There's a discipline to what everybody does. And I want everybody to pardon me because I didn't sleep well last night. I had an idea. I had to get up and write about it. So sometimes it happens. Everybody's been through that thing. I got an idea, and it throws your sleep off. It threw my sleep off. So if I ramble a little bit, please forgive me. I want to give a shout out to Sister Sultana. I hope everything went well with the janaza. I know these things are not easy. And if there's anything I can do or my family can do for you or your family or the family of the deceased, please let me know and we will do that, okay? Sister Rabina, all the way from the UK, one of the UK's greatest treasures. And we're going to call you Queen Rabina, who comes in, she contributes to the show. What I really like is that off camera, like when the show is over, she's very diligent in sending me a lot of information about the vaccine, stuff we talk about, racial justice, a lot of topics that we talked about. So, the Shout Out Show is interesting because we have a diverse range of topics, and I'm trying to grow into that type of person. While I do comedy, and that's what I do, and I've been blessed to do that, we still have to be able to have a conversation. You know what I mean? You have to be able to have a conversation beyond being on a microphone and controlling the narrative. But why? Because you have amplification. Well, this is a spot. This is a platform where I don't want amplification. I want a conversation. I want a discussion. So thank you so much. And Sister Aika, all the way from Indonesia, from Jakarta, from Depok. Beautiful sister. Wonderful spirit. She comes in, and we appreciate you, Sister Aika. You just want you to know you are appreciated. Sister Sakina Majahid, all the way from Charlotte, raising a tribe of young men, hanging out there doing great things. She is a social services warrior, brothers and sisters. We salute you. We applaud you. Well, that would be applaud you, salute you. Being out there and doing it, because you know what, doing social services right now is not an easy thing. So please, prayers go with you. And my brother, one of the best non-Muslims I know. My little brother, Johnny Thomas. Always a pleasure to have you on the show, little brother. And if I haven't said it lately, man, I appreciate you and have immense respect for you for what you've done for your family and your babies, and always being a trusted sidekick and a little brother when I needed it, but more importantly when I didn't. Thank you, brother. And Mama Moss said something, but you got to put the rest of it in. I love my mom, man. My mom tries to come on in the shout out show. God bless her. And, God bless her. And I think it's really fun that my mom comes on and she tries to participate. Okay, mom. Well, I think we're live. Is there any problem with the live? I don't know, mom. We're rolling along now, but in any event, and we got Wally Bahar. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, brother Wally. Thank you for coming on, man. And like I told you at the top of the show, you are an official part of the Shout Out Show family, the Shout Out Show soldiers. When you come here, there's no cost of entry or anything like that, man. We appreciate you coming and being a part of the clique, a part of the tribe, a part of the community. Okay, I am working on a paper for my class. Many of you know that I'm trying to secure my master's in Islamic education. And one of the courses I'm having to take is Islamic law. And I've always had a problem with not so much Islamic law, but the application of it here in the United States. See, I was born here in the United States. I converted to Islam. I was not born into Islam. And it was interesting because I've been studying this whole idea of what's called a Sharia or Islamic law, which is fiqh. And Islamic law is very intricate. Okay, well, I hope it's not bad. I'm sorry about that, Reed. Let me see if I can move this a little bit closer. Yeah, I'm sorry about the technology, people. But my thing about Islamic law as it applies here in the United States, a lot of us didn't understand it. I'm not saying it didn't have merit. I'm not saying it didn't have balance, but here in the United States, particularly for people of color, underrepresented people, when you talked about the idea of religious identification, it did have to do with the fact that that religious identification was meant to fight fundamental injustice. Fundamental injustice. In some regards, what I'm saying is it wasn't the thing that you fought that against oppression that people would recognize your humanity, but more importantly, just that they recognize that you are a human being. And so as I begin to talk about this topic, one of the biggest aspects of humanness, humanity has a baseline of the fact that you want to be able to preserve and emphasize people's dignity. Let me say it again. You want to be able to preserve and emphasize people's dignity. I study Islamic texts, and it's always been problematic here in the United States. Not because it was Islamic text. Let me tell you why. Because it was presented in a scenario whereby it wasn't the classical understanding of Islam as a social justice balance. You know what I'm saying? Like when you came here, when Islam came to the United States, or I want to say reemerged in the 1920s, that Islam did not address racial inequality. The people, brothers and sisters, the people who were here framed Islam to fight fundamental injustice, racism, oppression, which is a beautiful thing, and still be able to have a religious component that we are serving a creator. We're serving a creator by doing these things. Beautiful concept. But what's happened lately? I would say in the last 4 years, is there been a very, very non-subtle move, and I'm going to give a shout out to my classmate, Abdullah Najjar. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What's going on, beloved? Good to see you. There's been a move, brothers and sisters, whereby the reduction, I want to say the devaluing of people, the dehumanization of people has moved to a point where now we don't understand the importance of dignity. Let me explain a little bit further. It's a sports analogy. In sports, professional sports, your career is determined not by how you played per se, but how you play with injury. There's two things that you can be. You can be hurt, you've been injured. When you're hurt, you can still play. When you're injured, you can't play. Well, one of the scopes of being oppressed, a part of oppressed people, not just here in the United States, throughout the world, is that you are expected to play through injury. And that, brothers and sisters, is the thing that makes you special. That you can be successful playing through injury when the people who injured you can't play through injury. They can't be as successful as you, and they're not even injured. I say that's a mercy from Allah. You can say whatever you want to say. We all have an opinion. But in the last couple of years, there's been a move here. There's been a move, it's been very subtle, where we have gotten to the point in society whereby we don't understand people's dignity. Let me say it again. We don't understand people's dignity. And when you don't understand people's dignity, you don't realize what it is. You can't value it. You can't assess it. You can't appreciate it. Now, okay, sister. Sister says, I have an excellent book for you. When I had studied fiqh and sunnah, I will forward you the details. Inshallah, thank you so much. I appreciate you, Sister Rabina. But I'm going to flip this conversation, if you will. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about dignity, the healing power of dignity. Now, the healing power of dignity is that it reveals a truth, brothers and sisters. It reveals a truth. And the revealing of that truth doesn't make us attracted to it or repel us. It makes us understand that this is the space and the condition and a sense of urgency, if you will, that this person is dealing with. That this person, I just did an interview with Ustad Ubayla Evans, and we were talking about the stimulus fight right now in Congress and the Senate. And he said something, and it was very, very profound. He said that here in the United States, you know, you have people fighting over the stimulus, how much people get, how much people don't get, stuff like that. He said it's interesting because the people who advocated and gave the stimulus money for $1,200 are seen as heroes. He said, but the people who fought against giving the stimulus money are the villains. And he said, in actuality, they're all villains. He said, because it wasn't about who gave and who took, it's just that they knew that it was not enough. They knew that it was not enough to take care of our citizens, and that you would be back to a situation, a scenario where you were scrambling, grinding, struggling, in some regards begging, suffering, because that action didn't take care of you as a citizen. Think about it. A $1,200 stimulus check over 10 months. You know it's not going to do it. You know it's not enough to be able, and this is a big thing with parents. A big thing with parents is to have a very, very strong and visible sense of dignity with their children. And so we talk about this a little bit. And I came up with this. I always try and give a little bit of a story, if you will. So there was this, I'm gonna play this video, and I'm gonna ask everybody to bear with me on this. This has to do with the dignity of an elder. Now, there was a great show in the 70s. Most of you know it. It was a show called Good Times. It was based around the Evans family. The Evans family had 3 children: Michael, JJ, Thelma, mother, Florida, father, James. In this particular episode, it's called The Dinner Party. And the setup is there's an older woman in the building. She talks about retiring. Now, she was a music teacher. She taught voice. And the Evans family has some extra money, and they want their daughter to get some voice lessons. This woman comes and she says, I'm not going to give the voice lessons. She goes, I'm not going to give the voice lessons because It's too many problems. I'm just going to retire. In the neighborhood, Blabbermouth, Walona Woods, says that's not the reason why she's not going to do it. She's saying that she stopped teaching music because the money that she earned for teaching music was being taken out of her social retirement check, a social security retirement check. So for every $2 she got, they took it out. Now that's one part of it. The dignity of elders. Then the youngest son, Michael, says that he helped her take her groceries or take her garbage out. And that the woman gave her a nickel, and the family goes, "Oh my gosh, she shouldn't be taking that money from her. She needs all the money she could get." And he goes, "Well, I don't know if she needs that money because, she must have a pet." And everybody goes, "What do you mean have a pet?" He goes, "Well, she got a whole garbage can full of pet food." Now here's the deal. The woman they're talking about did not have a pet. So the setup is they believe that she's so poor, or she's dealing with hard times that are so severe, she's now eating pet food. They invite her to dinner. They invite her to dinner to feed her, to make her feel better, I guess. Really, and to bolster her up. I understand it. It's a very pure thought. The comedy comes when she comes in, she's invited to dinner, and she brings a meatloaf. And everybody in the house believes that that meatloaf was made of dog food. That the meatloaf was made of dog food. I want you guys to watch this. It's an incredible piece of writing, but an extremely, 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 was it cat food, Reed, or dog food? Pet food. They kept saying pet food. So forgive me, everybody. I said dog food, pet food. They didn't say what kind of pet. But when she makes this meatloaf, everybody believes that the meatloaf, Gertie, that's her name, Gertie. Everyone believes that Gertie's made the meatloaf with pet food. It's kind of hard to watch. It's kind of funny, but it's brilliant writing. Man, there are a lot of lessons in that. So I'm going to get to it, if you allow me, brothers and sisters. Thank you so much for setting this up. I present to you, my brothers and sisters, Gertie from Good Times. I think it's season 2, episode 19. It's called The Dinner Party. If you get a chance to go to YouTube, watch the whole thing, please.
I love Florida's meatloaf. Oh, this is not Florida's meatloaf tonight. Oh, I brought it down and made it myself. Well, I've had second thoughts about dinner. It's a cinder waste food, even though it is burned. Besides, the charcoal is good for my teeth, keep them white. Bon appetit, y'all. James, let's get started.
Right. But you know me, when we ain't said grace yet, and I wouldn't think of taking a mouthful of food without saying grace, Gertie. But Dad, you never say grace, not you. You are the religious leader of this house. You are.
JJ, why don't you say grace? And don't be too long about it, JJ. When my meatloaf gets cold, it loses some of its bite.
The Lord is my German shepherd.
So on. Do you think that I would give my friends pet food?
Well, Gertie, if you enjoy it, there's no reason why. Come on, everybody. Let's eat this.
Florida, that is ground round. What kind of a person do you think I am?
Gertie, we heard that you...
Because I couldn't afford better that sometimes I eat pet food? Well, I do. But that doesn't mean that I would try to fool my friends with it. That is real meatloaf, believe me.
I should have known better. I'm sorry. Can you forgive us?
Of course.
Well, in that case, let me quote the late, great Rin Tin Tin. Let's eat!
You know, maybe there's a lesson in all of this for me, too. You people have been so busy trying to help me, and I haven't done a thing to try to help myself. Well, now I'm going to.
Well, what you gonna do, Gertie?
I'm going to stop feeling sorry for myself because I've been caught between a rock and a hard place.
All right.
I have spent years earning my Social Security, and I want it. And I'm not going to say that this old bag of bones is going to be retired. If you still want them lessons, I'm available.
I do, but what about your Social Security?
I'm going to fight for it.
Good.
There are a lot of old folks around in the same boat I'm in. The only trouble is they don't get together. They stay in their private miseries. But I'm going to get them together. And together we count for a lot of them. We not only got black power, we got Medicare power.
Hey, now that's the old Gertie I know talking.
Okay, come on now, let's enjoy this meal.
Give me some of these.
And if you want any more meatloaf, just howl.
Wow, classic scene, brothers. This is classic scene. But you can see the well-meaning aspect of the Evans family, that they wanted to help. And what they wanted to do with this woman was help restore her dignity. A lot of times, I don't know what's going on in the world today. I see things that are good. I see things that are questionable. One of the things that's happened is that we're not looking at how do we restore people's dignity. There's such a thing about coming home, pardon the word, Muslims, coming home with the bacon. When you're the man of the house. That coming home with the bacon, I know it's a bad analogy. It's about dignity. It's about being able to look your kids in the eye and say, listen, the things I'm telling you, the ideas that I believe are the things that are making me successful, that allow this family to be successful and grow. In the situation with Gertie, when I first saw this, I won't lie, brothers and sisters, I think I welled up. I think I cried because I liked the character of Gertie. I liked the character of Gertie at the beginning of the show. And what hurt me was that a person with that kind of light and energy could be doing bad. That society could forget about her. And I was a little bit too young to know all about Medicare and Social Security. I just know that a wrong had happened. A wrong had happened. And even at the end of the show, the people that wronged Gertie, they didn't correct the situation. It was Gertie. It was her attitude. It was the fact that Gertie understood that my dignity does not come from you. Nonetheless, to operate in this space, to be successful, we still need to do all we can to maintain dignity. Now, this was a case of her being a senior citizen. What we needed for so many other folks. What we needed for our children, husbands, wives, mothers, fathers. You know, all of us have or have had mothers and fathers who are fiercely independent. And when we show up as children, we want to do everything. I'm here, not totally understanding that they have been pre-existing without you. They have been going to the store without you, getting groceries without you, paying their bills without you, cooking their food without you. And it was my mother and my grandmother who reminded me one time about my grandfather, who had gotten older. And what he would do, he would whittle. Now, let me tell y'all what whittling is. That's when you take a knife and a little stick, and you shave it down. You keep turning it, maybe till you get to a point. Now, my grandfather was in his 70s, still whittling. And I went to ask him, "What are you doing whittling, Grandpa? Like, we're in Washington, D.C. What is this stick for? Why do you do this?" And my grandmother says, "He does that because it gives him peace and it gives him a routine." She says, "You're too young to understand when whittling and being able to work wood was a skill. It was admired. And it brought a sense of, wait for it, respect and dignity." So as we grow, let me blow up my man here, Nail Salahuddin, class brother. How you doing, Nail? Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's important, just like we whittle, my grandfather used to whittle, that we look for opportunities to point out and help people grow their dignity. 2020 was an extremely rough year. One of the reasons I felt like it was really, really rough, we went the opposite direction in terms of showing respect to folks, deferring at some point in time. You don't have to be right all the time. I've learned that. You don't have to be right all the time. Sometimes you could be a little wrong. It reminds me of something that Keenan Ivory Wayans said. Keenan Ivory Wayans said a long time ago. I think it was on Oprah. And they asked him about his family because they're like the TV royalty, right? And they asked him, they said, "How has your family managed to stay on top of all this?" Wayans are always doing something. Movies, TVs, all of that. Now, Keenan is like the brains of the bunch, right? He said something that was so profound about maintaining dignity. I hope you understand what I'm about to say. He said, in this business, the family always came first. He said, therefore, when one family member would have something on TV, another family member would not submit something in competition while it was on TV. They wait till the show was taken off of TV, then they submit it. Or a movie, or a song, or writing, or something like that. But they never really competed with one another. They showed deference. And then in a beautiful thing, they put each other on each other's projects. You hear what I'm saying? They put each other on each other's projects. When they asked him why, this is the response he gave. He said, "You'll learn that you're going to have to give a little more, take a little less." He said, "Because in the end, we're all family." That's dignity. I'm going to say it again for all of us. When it comes to dignity, check this out. Just like Mr. Wayne said, sometimes you're going to have to give a little more, take a little less, because in the end, we're all family. Brothers and sisters, I hope you have an amazing Saturday. I hope this is helpful. I find that it's therapeutic for me because I know that I have to do a much better job at raising and recognizing people's space for dignity and putting them or acknowledging those spaces or heightening them in those spaces. Dignity is so much more than about winning and being right. It's about being human. It's about being human. When you saw that woman, you saw Gertie, you know what that woman said that was so amazing? She said, she told these people, she said, "If you think I eat pet food, you know what? I do eat pet food." She said, "However, if you thinking I was trying to get over my friends by giving it to you," she said, "No, This is what I'm talking about. Her dignity is so high that even in her difficult situation, she saw to give her friends the best. The meat, not the pet food, but the meat that she used to make that meatloaf. Her heart and spirit was so high, she could have kept that meatloaf to herself, but she bought it to share. How many of us really do that? How many of us even think that way? And if you don't think that way, here's a hint. Give it a shot. All right, brothers and sisters, I gotta go. You guys been great. Please have an amazing Saturday, the remainder of it. And you know what, just for kicks, have an amazing Sunday too. So if I don't see you tomorrow, know that you're in my prayers and uh, I respect your dignity. Okay, brothers and sisters, gotta go. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Take care. Preacher Moss, and this has been yet another episode of The Shout Out Show.
Hey everybody, this is your brother Preacher Moss.